Iran is definitely winning the war, you guys. We don't have any more leaders, no more ships, no more airplanes, no more missile launchers, and no more weapons. But other than that, everything honky-dory here in Iran. Totally winning. Nobody panicking or anything like that, okay, Baddy?
And the reality is... I gotta say, guys, I haven't seen anything that massive as far as bombing since probably Baghdad in Iraq. I hope everybody's having a good day today. I wore red, but it was the wrong day to wear red. I was wearing red for all the pain and suffering we were going to experience, but we'll see what that ends up looking like today. If you don't understand this by now, I hope you learn it very soon. Donald Trump is a master of fucking with the markets. Does anybody get that in chat? Do you guys get that? Can somebody respond in chat if they understand that Donald Trump will fucking end you if you're shorting his market? I hope you get that. Here, let me real quick. I just realized I don't have Bitcoins up in the bottom. We should probably get some Bitcoins up in here. Let me find it real quick. Stock. Let's see. Bitcoin. And this, and maybe move this over here. I think it's there. Is it there? It's there. Okay. And let me just adjust it a little bit. So we're already, again, this is about as perfect as it gets, guys. If you look in the bottom right corner, you'll see where we called support. And again, Donald Trump isn't going to let the markets drop, okay? Yeah, right? Like he's going to make sure that we win. He's going to make sure we're doing that. Last night, I want to say there were just a couple of rockets, man. It was a pathetic night. Absolutely pathetic. And, I tried to warn people today. I warned them about the bond volatility index and the fact that the move that we saw in the bond volatility index, that hasn't opened up yet, so that'll adjust once market opens. But that hadn't happened since the Silicon Valley Bank collapse and also the pandemic. Outside of that, those are the only two times we've been this high in the bond volatility index since 2008 great financial crisis. So that's like an interesting point. Then we have Trump. What did he say today? What is everybody freaking out about? Well, let's just read it. If Iran doesn't... No, wait, that's the wrong one. Did I put the wrong one in here? I got to delete this. We got to find the right one, guys. I put the wrong one in here. Let me find it. We got a bunch of... And I warned people today about metals. Metals have been absolutely crushed. What are those sitting at? Today's so much fun. This is the best kind of day. Even metals are bouncing right now because people are excited about the potential of the market falling apart in the future and they want to hedge. But whatever, that's good. That's good. We got Bitcoins going up. We got everything going up. Let me real quickly here see if I can find Trump's statement. I don't know why this is just showing me mine. I don't want mine. I want everything. Is nobody else talking about Trump? Let's see here. Here we go. This is the one. Oh, yeah. Now they'll scream taco. Fucking morons. All right, so let's read this real quick here. Let's look at this. So Trump said, I'm pleased to report that the United States of America and the country of Iran have had, over the last 2 days, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East. This is a taco. This is a taco. When you get everything you want. When you destroy their nuclear capacity. When you wipe out all their ballistic missiles. When you get the entire region to turn against Iran. And then they ask for a settlement. You escalate heading into that because that's how you get a good deal. And then you start to work towards a negotiation of a peace. Now, I got to say, guys, this is going to be, I want the details for this. This could just be Trump trying to condition the markets before we do something later tonight. So I want to see the details, but at least by looking at this, it's very positive for markets today. And anybody who's short the market right now is hurting. We already saw that in the gold and metals. Oil right now is down almost 10% on the day, down about 8.5%. So people are getting hit. How are you guys feeling in chat, though? Let's read the rest of this. Very, very good and productive conversations regarding a complete and total resolution of our hostilities in the Middle East based on the tenor and tone of these in-depth, detailed, and constructive conversations, which will continue throughout the week. I've instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iran power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period. So what he's telling the markets for this week is rip, motherfucker, go up this entire week as we talk positively about what's happening on the war. Now, whether or not this is the end of it is another thing altogether, but it's awesome signaling that he put 5 days because that basically gets us through this week, which I think is a very positive thing. Subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. So again, he's telling you he can fuck you at any moment on here. Kirby said, what? Your earlier comment? What was your earlier comment, Kirby? What was it? When did Trump say this? He said it this morning. Of course, this is the perfect timing to fucking say this. Freak everybody out over the weekend. Get the bears just so excited and ravenous. Like they think they got fresh meat, right? And they jump in and they're like going extra leverage short. They're going long on oil. They're going I hope they wouldn't be going long on metals. We've talked about that for a while. But get them excited as fuck and then destroy them. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, is these people get destroyed. All right, let me just zoom in here a little bit. We'll go down, kind of walk through. So a lot of this stuff, again, the move index, we talked about that. That's going to come down hard this morning. I said, well, warning was timely. I said, imagine that you're in precious metals, because there's a statement before this where I was talking about how they got crushed, how people moved from Bitcoin down 50% 7 weeks ago or 45, 50, right around there, to jumping into precious metals, and then they lost 50% as of this morning. And then I was talking about how people might be rotating from metals into oil, thinking that that's the next big play, only to have to get crushed as well. And so I said on here, I go, there's a massive wick on oil, which is scary. It's looking heavy. You can see how it's looking heavy over here. It's not going higher. And now with what Trump did, it's even lower. We got a gap all the way down to 67. We already hit 90 on the daily, so for the RSI, and now the MACD is going to be coming down hard. From a technical standpoint, they completely fucked the shorts in the market. They completely fucked the longs in oil. They completely fucked the longs in metals. Just screwed them all. And you don't think this is deliberate? Scott Bessent crashed the Bank of England. These people know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. This is. I don't want to say it's market manipulation because that sounds negative, and I don't mind it. But this is essentially market manipulation. You look at silver over here. I was trying to tell people, imagine being down 50% in your Bitcoin portfolio 7 weeks, and then again just getting crushed, rotating into metals. Talking about everybody. How many people were on metals? How many fucking people were on metals 7 weeks ago telling you that it was just going to go to the moon, calling me a dipshit? And I was trying to say, no, guys. I realized I did bad with crypto at the end of last year because I just assumed it had to go up, and it didn't. And metals was the play for like a year and a half, 2 years almost, right? Like that's where the real money was, outside of some miners like iron and stuff like that have done really well. There wasn't a lot else in crypto that was doing well, but you don't buy into that. You don't buy silver when it's up 400 fucking %. You don't do that. Lots of social media depicting executions. So terrible. Gotta get these leaders. I know. I don't think we're done as far as helping the people of Iran win and establish their freedom. I don't think that's done, but I do think that we've done an amazing job flipping markets right now, today. And I think that's going to continue. Guys, the Bitcoin to gold ratio couldn't be more clear. This couldn't be more fucking clear. It was support, back in 2018, this line, 2009, broke down underneath of it briefly in late 2018 to early 2019, got back up above it, couldn't establish support, crashed because of the pandemic, got back above it, boom, look at this, Bitcoin versus gold, boom. That was the end of that cycle. Down here, hit it as support. So again, support, resistance, resistance, support, support. This is textbook beautiful shit right here. Now, here's the thing. If you think the world is falling apart, then you probably still want to buy precious metals today. Gold did really well. Let's just look at this. Gold is bouncing hard. So these are the Peter Schiffs of the world, right? They're the Peter Schiffs of the world. They're like, oh, guys, this is my opportunity. I just bought it down here. It hit the 200 moving average. There was this peak support over here. And now it's rocketing up to 4,400, and it's just the best buy ever. That's people that think that gold is going to be the big safe haven. And don't get me wrong, I think gold can actually do pretty well. I don't know about silver over the short term. I do want to show you something with silver. It's still under what was previously a support line over here. If you look at this, you can see how it's still underneath of it. So silver not reacting nearly as positively as gold, and I think that's legit. So could gold go up more? Sure. But why would you buy gold here, guys? Can anybody tell me? Raise your fucking hand. Why would you buy gold here? It's something that's a $25 trillion cap. I don't even know what it's at right now. Something that is was 20x the size of Bitcoin. Why the fuck would you buy gold right here? This administration's getting ready to pass the Clarity Act. Why the fuck would you buy gold here? I know Jordy Visser's loading up on silver down the road. And down the road, that might be a good decision. I actually think I like copper a lot too. Silver is just a byproduct of everything else. I don't even know, is there a dedicated silver mine in the world? I think it just literally comes with everything else. And so people end up mining it and cleaning it up and selling it, right? But I don't think it's the play. I really don't think it's the play. I just realized I didn't fix my Bitcoin chart. Let's bring this over. Put this over here. A little bit here. All right, there we go. That's better. That's a little better. Yeah, I think copper is a better metals play if you think that the world's going to be okay in the future. But let's roll through stuff here, guys. I said something earlier. I said, for the noobs, up here is bad for inflation. Down here is good. It's good. This is a good number, okay? Crypto market, fear and greed was at 8 this morning. Fear and greed on the stock market was at 12. It's at 16 now. I said buy, sell, right? Keep it fucking simple. We've got nothing in the way of economic data really today. I shouldn't say that. We do have the Chicago Fed national activity. So we do have one thing at 7:30, but it's for February data. And if we look over here last time, we had our first really positive read in January, going all the way back to March 2025. So again, almost a year. So that was a good one. We'll see how it does this time. Tomorrow we have more, though. We have ADP employment. We have S&P Global, composite, PMI information, manufacturing services. So tomorrow will be fun. And then is this showing everything? Let me check here real quick. Aha, I'm missing a few things. Got to have the important stuff, guys. I'm actually going to put down all these things. Oh, there we go. It does that by default. So yeah, so if you don't look at most important, then you don't even see anything for today. But tomorrow we got Jolt openings, we got ISM manufacturing later in the week. All the good stuff really usually comes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're sitting at 71,000 right now on Bitcoin. I'm so fucking excited today, guys. This is exactly everything. It's like you know something to be true, but it goes against you for long periods of time, and that hurts. But then all of a sudden, it starts to become true, and people see reality. And that's just such a special thing when it finally starts to happen, when you know you're right about something. Ethereum up 5.55% right now on the day. Pre-market, guys, everything is up. DFDV is up 7%. That's a Solana play. Let's see here. We've got, I can't tell with that. We got 2% on CleanSpark, 2.5% on Cypher, 2.62 on Iron. MicroStrategy is up 2.23%. Tesla's up almost 1.5%. ARKG's up 3.2%. Robinhood's up 1.6%. I don't see, I'm trying to see if the defense stock's doing okay. It looks like they're up a little bit, but honestly, I don't know that I'd be investing a lot in defense over the short term. They're overvalued. TLT finally getting a bid, up 1%. That thing's just been crushed. Ass and Titties, Strive, up almost 2%. Zeta, up 2.5%. D-Local, a Latin American one that I'm invested in, up 4.5%. I could see all these things starting to scream higher throughout the day. You're going to see a lot. Let's just look here in pre-market at the heat map and get an idea what's going on, and then we'll get into the news-related events. This is just the big one, so we're jumping to it for a minute. Thank you to everybody who's here. I like to see chat blowing up. If you guys could do me a huge favor, it's been a tough last fucking year for me, especially the last 6 months. If you could hit the like and just do that, it's just such a simple thing, and it shows that you care at all about the effort that I put forward. I would just greatly appreciate it. And again, if you could share too on X, like commenting is huge. Commenting is a 7x multiplier. So if you comment under my posts, it helps me a shit ton. Liking helps too. And then sharing. I mean, if you don't want to share it because you're like, nobody likes this guy because, he lost money in crypto this last year, then don't share it. But at least comment and hit the fucking like button and do something for somebody other than yourself. Thank you. All right, here we go. Pre-market. Let's see how we're sitting. So we went from red to boom. But what's down? Energy. So again, all the people that were going long energy and oil just getting crushed today. But the stock market looking like it wants to rebound. And honestly, this makes tons of sense. People are jumping to the big boys like the Nvidias and the ones where it's like, okay, this is a big company, lots of cash flow. I don't know if that's the right move because again, a lot of these guys have huge capex. So I could still see compression happening in them and them underperforming mid and lower level stocks. I think that's just inevitable. 777. What is that representing? Seems like some Linux shit. Jesse deserves the like and share. Thank you, Stoney. I appreciate you. Thank you all. Kirby, all you guys, man. But yeah, so it looks like we're having a nice start to the day. I'm going to see here real quickly if we have any good videos. There's a lot to talk about, but I mean, this is just a beautiful start to the day, guys. This is a beautiful start. You love to see things like this. I did have a play-by-play of what I thought was happening with this war. This might go away completely if the war does in fact end. And the only way that this is going to end, guys, the demands from Iran were completely bullshit. But when you kill enough people, you chop off the head of one person that's the bad guy, and the next guy will come up and he'll be like, fuck you, I will avenge them. And then you chop off his head, and then the next guy's like, we're going to avenge them. And then you chop off his head, and then the next person's like, you know what? I like living. I'm not as radical as these other guys. And if I can help you transition, if I can get that Venezuelan vice president treatment where I am the ruler of the country and you keep me alive and then I don't have to die, I think that's great. Let's do that. Let's do that plan. And that's what you have. Third, fourth, you chop off enough heads and people start to listen. But if this is not in fact over, which I hope it is, but I also need to know that the Iranian people are going to be free. If they're not, then I hope it's not. I hope it's not over. And I hope this is just a bluff or more signaling. You got to remember, guys, Trump told you. What did Trump tell you before this war started? Negotiations are going great. Now he's saying, hey, we've had some pretty good negotiations. But then what did he do? He fucking started a war. So don't believe everything he says. You'd be ignorant to believe everything he says. But he does do a lot of different signaling to make markets do what he wants. And that's the thing you need to take away from it. So if the Iranian people are not free and we are still in war, here's what I see happening. Hormuz, initial clearing, right? We're going to clear out that upper northern region. We're going to wipe out those guys because we want to make it to where they can't shoot rockets. They can't bring vessels into the region to try and close the strait. We need to secure it. That's number one. Next one would be Karg Island, initial landing. We would take it probably from the south and the west. to be able to get all the oil fields that are there, because you want to secure those first. You don't want the terrorists blowing them up once they realize you're on the island. Then we would, along the way, arm the insurgency. This is already happening now. You can see some drive-bys and other stuff happening with these guys, carrying their Kalashnikovs and blowing away the Basiji. We would choke the oil supply off of Karg Island once we gained control over it, because 90% of it goes through that island. Now they could redirect and still have 10% initially and 30% in total after months and months of their oil supply still going out, but they would be losing 90% over the short term and 70% over the long. Trump would declare victory. I guess we're doing that now. Maybe we'll do it again. Coalition comes in to assist with ensuring safe passage. Now, these guys are a bunch of pussies. So they're coming in at the end, and then they're going to declare victory and talk about how they supported the United States while Trump gives them the middle finger. Continued bombings throughout. Again, on pause for now. Coalition overthrows the IRGC for good with rebel help. The rebels will gain power in this. And again, if we're not looking at a complete, we're done and we're willing to go down a path that allows the people to rule, then this isn't over. Freedom declared. Mop-up operations begin, hopefully 1 to 3 weeks. That's still the play-by-play in my mind. That's what you're looking for if this isn't over. History Guy Scalp says, GEV and energy has held in incredibly well, nearing all-time high again this morning. They probably will be, right? Isn't that the same one that's doing all the, I don't want to say turbines, wrong word. I'm still a little tired this morning, but aren't they? Maybe it's like natural gas turbines. Aren't they? Are they the ones doing that where they're being bought up by all these data centers as a backup form of energy? I'm pretty sure they are. So I would imagine those guys still do well because data center build out is just going to be explosive. Also, if this isn't the bottom, the 50 is a great place to launch on the S&P here, and I do still think that we have PE ratio compression concerns, again, because of large amounts of CapEx. So I do think the Magnificent Seven could still take some heat if this war isn't over. We still have a really strong support zone around the 6,100 mark. That to me, that's the bottom. That's where the 100 moving average is. The 100 moving average, this has essentially been the bottom. If you look at the monthly time frame, the 100 was the bottom. It was the bottom back over here during the tariff tantrum. It was the bottom back over here at the end of 2023. And then it was resistance back in early 2023. But basically for 2.5 years, this thing has held on as support. So much. We're so news driven, guys. Jesse, have you seen any signs of anti-regime rebels taking off? Yes. Yes, there's videos of it. Some are fake AI, but there's real ones too, where these guys are shooting and killing Basiji and other people there. But you got to remember, though, that isn't happening in mass because the U.S. government told them to stay in their homes, and that's what they've been doing. So I don't think you'll see a lot of that outside of some people that are just having a good time shooting the bad guys. But I do think you'll see more of that. Again, we talked about silver, talked about the MOVE index, put this out for the newbies, buy, sell, pretty basic stuff. And again, bad, good. The moment Iranians are safe to take the streets, everything changes. I agree with this. Now, you could see some other, I think the big narrative for today, at least from liberal news media, would be Trump tacos and that he doesn't care about the Iranian people. I think that will be the narrative that they'll try and push until we find out more details about what's going on. And that could be the narrative throughout the week. Because again, he's playing all sides, but Trump is definitely in May 23rd, I want to say, of 1988, Trump said, if they hit any of our troops whatsoever, I would take Karg Island. He also, though, has believed that Iran the IRGC should be wiped out for a very long time. In the 80s, he was like, these are the bad guys. You need to take them out. They cannot hold power. That is still very, very true. I don't think that's changed. This was timely, too. Let me just type that. This was timely as well. So, again, this is bond yields. You got a lot of people, like Quentin was talking about this, too. We had a little bit of a discussion about it. But when the bond yields are going up, you had a fake out to the downside, you had a fake out to the upside, and you've got this bearish divergence that goes back to the beginning of mid 2022 to now, 3.5 years. You've had divergence trying to pull bond yields down. Anybody who was thinking that those were going to explode was just asinine. Now, here's something you need to realize. Open source said 2 ballistic missiles in 10 hours. 2. 2 years ago, we feared Iran could saturate Israeli defenses with hundreds of single salvos. Tonight, they can barely field 2. 3 weeks in, the military threat we spent years fearing is nearly broken. Unseen, I like this guy. He said, unlike the idiots listening to the lying legacy media, panicans and doomers, oil producers understand the glut of oil out there on the market. As soon as the fear trade disappears, oil will drop like a rock. And that's what happened today. And don't get me wrong, it's back to 91 because people are probably speculating on what all this means and if Trump is tacoing on his taco, on his taco, on his taco, on his taco, because that's all they ever like to say. Jesus loves you, Jesse. I don't know. He might not appreciate my cussing, but thank you. That's very kind of you, Main Station. Yeah, there's a lot. Hey, if you guys have questions about anything, too, let me know. Throw it out. I'm happy to answer it. Isabel Net, S&P 500, losing the 200-day moving average after staying above it. This is on the daily, right? Above it for 200 days or more has usually meant a period of consolidation rather than the start of a deep bear market since 1950. And so what they've shown here is when that's happened, all these green dots, and it's been a continuation pattern. It hasn't been a long, prolonged bear market. And then you got Trump as the president, and he's going to do whatever the fuck he wants. So again, I put the poor people of China have been heavy buyers of gold and silver, and they've just been getting crushed as of lately. That still holds true, even though gold is doing better. So hopefully they bought gold and not silver. Yeah, I just said today, it's like last Friday, everybody's selling into cash. This changed, obviously, now. Right now, there's no safety in gold, bond, stocks, crypto, or oil. The shitty thing for them is they're probably selling near the lows. Boy, that was right. After losing a bunch of money, while everyone starts talking about the Great Depression. Does that sound right, chat? Does that sound like what people have been doing? Which will probably lock in their losses. They'll end up feeling better for a day or two, only to get stressed out again trying to figure out if they should re-enter the markets. That is what is happening today. People are going, damn, what's happening? Should I re-enter the markets now? And then they re-enter the market, and then Trump tacos on the taco on the taco. And then the markets start dropping again midweek once we start bombing the shit out of Iran. And then they just lose their fucking mind and they quit forever. Is 410 too soon for Tesla? I'm sorry, what are you talking about? Are you talking about options contracts? Dude, I hate short-term options contracts so fucking bad. I do leaps. I do 2-year leaps, bro. And I use, if I do them, which I haven't done a lot lately, I haven't done any really since October, probably before that, I use this options profit calculator to get a rough idea of what the risk to reward is. And I've got a video about that. You can see it. But again, I'm not pushing options on anybody right now. I want people to be able to endure the chop, not get diced up by it. Those 2X funds, guys, I hope to God all of you got out of those 2X funds. And I hope to God you got out of the bulk of your long options too. Bitcoin Surfer, Jesse, I really want to know your opinion on whether we have formed a bear flag on the daily. Oh, no, not even close, dude. No. We could talk about that more. No, not even close. It's the exact, look at the bottom right corner. We are bouncing off massive volumes. This is nothing like a bear flag. They wanted to tell you it was a bear flag because people are retarded and they can't tell the difference in the nuance. But it's not a bear flag. It's nothing like the one that was happening at the beginning of the year. It's not that. It looks like it if you don't have good vision. And here, what I could just show you right now. Does that look quite the same? Does that look like the same bear flag? If you look over here, you got this pretty consistent trying to go up, not real, kind of range bound, not moving too much, bottom right corner, guys. And then you have this one where we wicked extremely hard down, and then we've been establishing strong support in green and above that. This is not the same. Also, you have to look at the macro environment and what's happening in it. Are we more likely to have a massive escalation right now, or are we more likely to have a bounce? And I think it's the latter. Real quickly, I gave people low to highs. Again, the upside, I think, over the next year for potential Year plus is probably better than the low, but I gave people the low. I don't think we're going to do that, but I do warn people. Right now, Tesla's only up 0.18%. It looks like the market has taken what Trump has said, and parts of it are still doing really well. D-Local's doing good. ARCG is still doing good. Metaplanet doesn't count. DFDV is doing good, but some of the stocks are starting to come back to earth. I think this one can still fall. I don't think this is over, guys. I want to tell you that we're just fucking set and it's straight up from here, but I don't think that's true. I think Trump he's going to get what he wants out of this war. If you don't realize that, just look at what happened with the tariffs, and people thought he was fucking insane. They said inflation was going to go through the roof. Then inflation did this. And they were wrong. He has Scott Bessent, such a brilliant person working at the Treasury. They can manipulate this market in any fucking way they want. Anyway. And the way they want it to go is up. But if we start bombing again and people get scared that the war is going to be long, we could go down more. So again, I would not be dialing into leverage right here. There's too much risk in this market. I would not be long oil. I wouldn't be long metals unless you're looking at something long term. And honestly, guys, I don't think gold already had its run. What do you think it's going to do? $25 trillion fucking market cap. Do you think it's going up 100% tomorrow in a day? Do you think $25 trillion, do you think it's going to go up to 50? $50 trillion? Do people do math anymore? Do you know how fucking big $50 trillion is? Would you bet on that move happening and getting 100% return? Or would you bet on Bitcoin going up 200% and still being a fraction of gold? A fraction. Because if Bitcoin goes up 200%, it's sitting around 4 trillion. And even if gold went up another 50%, not even 40%, it would be 10 times the size of Bitcoin at 4 trillion going up 200% from here. So 40% returns, still 10 times the size of something that could go up 200%. What's the better math? Tell me in chat. What's the better math? What's the better risk to reward in that kind of environment? If you believe in Bitcoin and you actually understand it, which one is the better investment? All right, let's keep going. I said Bitcoin's still finding support, despite gold and silver getting crushed overnight. That was true. And again, just look at this. Look at this right here. Sure, we got a big wick down, but that was inflicted by war, right? So that's an anomaly. But now we bounced up and we went up here again. So it's just Bitcoin's pattern looks great. Gold doesn't look bad right now either, but I think it'll treat you badly. We got the Islamic takeover in airports. Allah Akbar. They want to kill all the infidels. I don't know about you guys. Are you guys infidels? This is just walking through the largest airport in Sydney. So, I'm sure that'll turn out fine. Massive LNG tanker from Texas docked at Mangalore port, giving India a bunch of LNG. We just signed shit tons of contracts for gas and oil with Japan and a bunch of other countries because they don't trust the Middle East right now in this choke point. So the pain that people are experiencing, only 2% of our oil comes from this region, guys, in the United States. 2%. Now, for China, it's a huge number. We'll talk about that in a little bit here. Zineb. Oh, she's kind of hot. Yeah, definitely. Cute looking Jew. Says, every serious investor grasps this instinctively. By eliminating the Iranian threat, Trump is unlocking a generation of commercial opportunity while building a region less dependent upon American military presence, because they're gonna help secure their own region, and also we get out of NATO and we don't have to have all of our military stationed there. We have less. We're spending less on all that. We can reduce the size of that, and we can prepare for potential of war against China so that we don't have to have it happen. And Jensen Huang even said, I believe that there's a reason we went to war, and I believe at the end of the war, the Middle East will be more stable than it was before. And that's true no matter what. And again, Beardo is telling you there's a fucking Great Depression happening, guys. Fucking Great Depression. So get ready for that. Good things happening all around the world if you're a conservative or a capitalist. We've got Marie Le Pen's national rally winning 64 cities in France's local elections. That's a big deal because one of the regions that she won was a socialist stronghold since 1989. 1989. And we've got the AfD in Germany. Doubles vote in German state elections, securing their best results ever. People told me that wasn't possible. It wasn't possible for AfD to start to get stronger and stronger and stronger, but that's what they're doing. And then the right-wing SDP surges in Slovenia's parliamentary elections. So not only do we have all of Central and South America becoming more right-leaning and expelling communism, whether we're helping them with that or not, Venezuela, Cuba, or soon Colombia. It looks like in Brazil, there's a 23-point lead for Bolsonaro beating Lula. Do you think that's going to turn out good? I do. Yeah, Jensen doesn't listen to me, but thank you for that. History Guy Scalps. Jesse, do you have an opinion on the commodity supercycle? I do think that will happen, but I don't think it's going to be the doom that everybody expects. I think it's more of a maybe a Jordy Visser, even though he's gotten a little down lately and a little depressing. But I think that it will be because we need them. It will be because we have a shortage of commodities, not because of the world is falling apart and people are jumping into commodities because they're scared to be invested in the stock market. I don't think it's that. That's not what's fucking happening. If you look at the terafab from Tesla, you know that's not what's fucking happening. But I do think that commodities that are used in production are going to be, and that's a scarce asset, right? When money printing is going burr, when artificial intelligence is taking off, the Jordy Visser look, right? When you see these things just exploding exponentially, we're going to need a lot of chips and everything that creates the chips. And so commodities will have a super cycle. I believe that, but it'll be for really positive reasons. Now, guys, anybody who knows where the Tesla factory, the 10 million square foot factory in Texas, the biggest building on Earth, square footage wise, is going to be dwarfed by the Tesla Terafab. 100 million square feet. I did the math. My house is like 2,700 square feet. That is 36,000 of my house, or 40,000 times the average home. And so that's probably like city, the number of residences in a city with a population of 150,000 people or more. That's fucking nuts. Tell me that's not nuts. That's one building. That's going to be the Terafab. So again, I see really good things happening. Now, does that happen right away for Tesla? Does Tesla take off, or does it consolidate for weeks and months and everybody gets bored? It's negative again in pre-market. Does everybody get bored? Bitcoin's only 70,000 now. So again, people are questioning the narrative. Will you forgive PayPal? No, they're even worse. No, their CEO that I was expecting to save them from Intuit literally fucked it all up, didn't do shit, overpromised, and now they have like a bean counter fucking running the company. I have no, and you have X payments going live now. No, PayPal is fucking trash, and it always will be. I would not invest in that. And in Cuba, guys, this is so great. You have Hassan Piker, for anybody who knows him. They are throwing food to all the poor little dark kids so that they can get them to dance for their YouTube videos. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Nothing screams communism like a bunch of rich elites, basically safari-wise, looking at the poor communist people and then using that as an opportunity to promote communism. I've got real good ones on that. Aldo loves commodity cycle, agricultural sector left behind. That's the opportunity. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Anthony Pompliano, I'm starting to think that the White House doesn't care about what happens to the stock market in the first half of the year because they know, I've been saying this the whole fucking time, they know that the stocks are going to pump by midterms. I do agree with that. But I still think I should say this. they know that they're going to be okay come midterms. I think they know that there's a really good chance of that if they resolve this conflict. We're going to look at data on polling from CBS and a bunch of other places that I think might shock you in regard to how supportive people are of this war if it ends soon. And that will drive markets a lot higher, because what Trump did with this war, people can talk about the short-term concerns with oil. We're the biggest fucking oil producer on this planet. We're the biggest fucking natural gas producer on this planet and LNG producer on this planet. We are the biggest helium producer on this fucking planet, right? Or this, so like all the things that people have been warning you about, we're the number one of. So if there's a worry that prices are going up, what does that fucking do for us? Can anybody tell me in chat? If we are the producer of everything that everybody's worried about the price of, what happens? People are so fucking dumb. Gina, imagine blaming an 18-year-old girl for being shot. Yeah, we won't talk about that. But some 18-year-old girl getting fucking killed by some Venezuelan immigrant murderer randomly. And what does the headline say? This is how much I love MSM. Wrong place, wrong time. Somehow this was her fault. Friend of slain Loyola student says shooting didn't feel targeted. It didn't feel targeted. They just randomly murdered this poor fucking white girl. Cool. That's good. Here's the Netherlands. Evidently Christians in the Netherlands. The Netherlands. Do you think of immigrant wars and white racism in the Netherlands? These are Christians beating the shit out of Islamic wannabes. There come the police. The Netherlands. Here's Hassan Piker. This is the 5-star hotel they're staying in. They get to hang out here and protest and drink champagne and sip tea while everybody else is starving. Here's another one. I think the math is right on this. It might not be. He said 100 million square feet for Tesla's Terafab. You guys check this in chat. He said 3 times the size of Central Park in New York City. Oh, let's see what the fuck. Oh yeah, this right here, guys. This is yesterday. This is the Iranian IRGC shooting off a rocket towards Israel or some other place, and they have all the people, their supporters there, so that they can't be targeted after they shoot it. That's the way we are right now with these guys. They're fucking lunatics. Another base destroyed. Drug cartels. We're still picking up drug lords. In this case, it looks like Costa Rica. So the Shield of Americas is working. You got it, dude, man. If you're just objectively looking at this and don't have TDS, this is amazing what's happening right now. 1,000 BTC was just purchased. That is 2.5 days of new supply by one company who purchased 20 days of supply last week. So they purchased, guys, more than 3 weeks, almost 3.5 weeks of Bitcoin in 2 weeks, a week apart from each other. 3.5 weeks of Bitcoin. That seems like a big deal. Here's the party winning. You got to see the Germans look pretty happy. Got to say, guys, I love Germans, but your language just sounds like you're spitting. I just want to say that. It just sounds like you're spitting, like you're just hawking a loogie at people. It's really disgusting. Struggled when I was in Munich with that. It's like you want to eat all the Wiener Schnitzels you can get, and you got these big beer signs sitting in a park. I remember when I went to Munich, guys, it was so fucking cool. The city is pretty beautiful. Well, I mean, they've got some immigrant problems too, but pretty beautiful. And then they have beer gardens where literally you just grab some signs and you get your beer, and then you get some, they love their brats and their Wiener Schnitzels, and you eat this stuff, and there'll be like a bunch of nude hot chicks laying out because they just do that. It's pretty interesting. You got to travel if you haven't traveled. Skill 101, at what point with MicroStrategy buying trigger a supply crunch? It is right now. STRC, and again, they're taking a lot of equity right now too, but this is the bottom in my opinion, and even if it's not, they can buy at 50, they can buy in the 40s. If you get the doom where we go to the 30s, they can still fucking buy, because if people are scared of US bonds and Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's dropped that far, something weird is happening. And if they're probably scared of U.S. bonds, and if they're scared of U.S. bonds, they're buying STRC and they're getting an 11% return on their money. Who wouldn't imagine $1 million? You could make $110,000 a year with STRC. Why wouldn't you do that? And that's just a dividend you're getting paid every year. But again, yeah, the loogie stuff just makes me sick. Anyway, how do you guys feel about that? That's pretty important stuff. I put, seriously, we're winning all around the world. And again, this is the massive victory on the right side. In France, everybody was stoked. I think people will be surprised by how well this week goes. I'm going to have to do this. And I use Barack Obama because why not? And the UAE, Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan. Nahyan. God, these people fucking with these names. We will never be blackmailed by terrorists. This guy's actually pretty cool. And Saudi Arabia is sending the same signals. Guys, for the 400 and almost 50 people that are here, can you please hit the like button and support somebody who has not had a good last 6 months and who could use a hug? Can you do that? Scott Pressler is in. He's been traveling all over South Dakota. He's looking really thin. I don't know if that's good. I don't know. He's got beautiful hair, though, like a horse. So the other gay men must love it. But Scott's a good dude, working hard to get people to register to vote, and we are indebted to him for that. Jay Duff, 4936. How the hell did MicroStrategy just buy at 74,000? Because they always get at a higher number. They just always do. Depends on how they're doing it too. But yeah, no, I mean, we were there, right? We were there literally last week. So that's how they did it. Already hit the button. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Fleet growth, I think we're over 500 now on Tesla, which is great. Again, people last night going, why are the futures up? There's something weird happening. People knew. Farzad, the more I research, I want to do a Terafab thing. I don't even know. Maybe I'll do that this week. I'm super excited about Terafab and what's coming. Again, over the short term, you never know what's going to happen with markets, but I think this is just great. They've got the entire market cornered. Trump says productive talks to spikes. Yep. It's pure psyop. Yep. Here's the thing. You can't say we're bluffing, Stoney, bro. You can't say we're bluffing because it's not a bluff. It's a slight lie. It's a very minor, very gray lie of, hey, it's all going to be okay now for the week unless we go to war. And the next play, guys, you know what the next play is, right? The time was today at 6:30 p.m. So if the talks fail, it's just fucking on like Donkey Kong. And that's the most likely scenario. So if you think all the pain is over, you're probably wrong. And I get why, and you could be right. It could be, but I think you're probably wrong. And we should see that later this week. Anna Paulina Luna is not only very pretty, but she's brilliant. And she's working hard to turn all 81 of Trump's executive orders into permanent federal law, and they think that they're going to do it. I got to show you this.
Congresswoman, looking ahead to 2026, of course, we got the midterms coming up.
Rolls hard.
That obviously you're elected in for 2 years. You're campaigning for half that time. That's not your fault. That's just how it works. But when we look at the intersection of policy and politics going into the midterms, most Americans sit at home and they go, Trump's doing a good job. And when you look at what he's getting done, a lot of it he's getting done through the executive branch. You've got.
I just want to show this to you. We need to talk about this later. I'll bring it up again later. But look at this, guys. Look at this. I haven't touched this fucking chart. Perfect back test. Now, do I wish I would have sold a bunch of my calls up here so I could buy a bunch more down here? I wish I would have. But this is a good back test. This is a really solid place to be. So that's interesting. Let's get back over here and listen to her response.
The big, beautiful bill you guys have passed. You've got things like the Lincoln-Riley Act that I think you should tout more heavily. But are there some agenda items that you all, the Republicans in the House, can really push and say, hey, this is what we're doing for Americans, and this is why we should be reelected?
Most certainly. I think to your guys' point earlier, you did a great job covering the fact that we need we need voters to show up to the polls. I think that in part that has to do with the fact that we need to codify President Trump's executive orders. So I know Speaker Johnson has announced that upon returning, there's going to be 81 of those executive orders that we're going to be working on codifying and marking in stone, so they can never reverse those. In addition to that, one of the top issues in this country right now, something that I addressed with you all last time I was on with you, is banning insider trading. And I have since gotten a commitment from Speaker Johnson that within the first quarter of next year, we will actually be banning that. That's something that Hakeem Jeffries has been actively working against. So that actually came out in the press.
And you know that Nancy Pelosi is too. She sucks. All right, what do we got here? New home sale prices are plummeting. I think that's great. And don't get me wrong. If guys, so it's starting with new homes. Existing's actually doing like okay because people haven't started moving yet, but that will drop too. Because if rates do start to come down, and they are going to, they might not be today. Let's see what they're doing today. So today, they're still holding on right up here, right? 0.05%, but these will start to move later. We're going down. We're just going down, guys. This administration has everything really, really well planned out. The charts scream it, and we'll see home sales go down. Probably not a lot, because we don't have a systemic crisis. That's the big difference, right? If this was the 2008 great financial crisis, for anybody, guys, do you know why that happened? I'll tell you, but you guys throw out your thoughts too. The 2008 great financial crisis, that happened because we had companies like Moody's and these others that are supposed to be giving grades to these vehicles, right? The home loan vehicles that everybody was purchasing for safety, the AAA rated home loan vehicles that were actually only triple rated because they were all subprime debt. I had one of these loans in 2008. I never had bought a house in my life. I got an adjustable rate fucking mortgage. My parents didn't know anything about this stuff. I had nobody to talk to about how to buy a house and what I should be doing. And so I got an adjustable rate mortgage. It was like a 2-year. I ended up having to refinance that and beg and plead and steal to get those motherfuckers to give me a fixed rate that was at a good rate because of where my credit was. But they were desperate and they didn't want to default on the loan. And so my ass got saved. But a lot of people didn't. They were getting adjustable rate mortgages, tons of people. And at the time, everybody's like, oh, rates are so cheap. This is like the best thing ever. Nothing to worry about. Get an adjustable rate mortgage. Everything will be fine. Well, the 2008 great financial crisis shot those things to the fucking moon. But it did it off of a systemic issue where people like me, subprime debt, people that never should have gotten these loans. Guys, when I went to get a loan, they were willing to give me a loan that was just way more than I could possibly afford when I was just running simple math. So they wanted to give loans that were going to default. All right. There were waitresses. If you look at The Big Short, you know, they have like a comical thing inside of there that talks about a waitress who's got 3 homes. She's a waitress, but she owns 3 homes and she's just been buying them because they do nothing but go up in value. That's what happened more recently over the last 5 years with China. They suffered the 2008 great financial crisis. They're still in it. They're fucked. But that was a systemic issue where they sold people. They said, you're safe here. And this AAA mortgage debt, because mortgage is like the safest. It just goes up. And this is AAA. These are the best people. But they weren't. They were me. And they were people that were put in loans that these brokerage companies, not actual like what you would normally have with like a Rocket Mortgage, or back then it was Countrywide. I think that was mine. You'd have these mortgage brokers that did all the work and then resold them to the big guys. Well, they sold them fucking trash. And so that was a systemic issue. That's what systemic means. It means the system is broken, right? That is not what we have now. We are so over collateralized within the government and within the banking system right now because of everything that was done. A lot of it pushed by Democrats in a good way, I think, over the short term, because it's gotten us to a point where banks are much more secure than they were back then. Okay, so mortgage prices can go down. Sorry, I gave this history lesson. Mortgage prices can go down, and at the same time, it's good. And it's not a systemic issue. And don't worry about private credit. Everybody fucking talks about private credit. We are in the age where the spice must flow. The spice must flow. Any Dune fans here? After the great financial crisis, we learned one thing. You can't let markets fall. That was the wrong lesson, but we learned it. And we're at a point now where we can't. You can't let markets fall when you're the world reserve currency and you've got a debt to GDP that's over 100%, because you'll go bankrupt. You can't, everybody's like, oh, we should cut all the expenses and shrink our economy and do it. No, you can't do that. You can't create a downward spiral when you're functionally bankrupt. You have to grow your way out of it. It's the only way to do it. You can grow your way out of it the wrong way, like Biden did, printing a bunch of money, following up off of Trump's first term, where he was told that the pandemic required him to close everything down and print a bunch of money, and he didn't have any Republicans backing him up. So you can have that problem, and then what happened with Biden, where they print a bunch of money, or you can have what's happening now with Trump. And it's not just printing a bunch of money. It's making it to where you're buying shorter dated treasuries, just like we did under Biden, right? With the dumb Treasury Secretary that's name shall not be mentioned, Janet Yellen. But Scott Bessent, wait a second, Scott Bessent was trash talking her for selling shorter dated treasuries, right? Because that's a short-term fix. And yet he's doing it now. Why is he doing it now? Because he has to. He has to. Yeah. Here's the thing with that, the tweet. So Chris John said, amidst latest tweet, Iran saying they haven't spoken. Trump didn't say who he's spoken to in Iran. So I would believe Trump over Iran right now, as far as we've got the winning hand. Could he be lying? I don't know, man. I don't know. But either way, though, I think by the end of this week, we're going to be more up than we are down. I think that's probably true, like with a high likelihood. Anyway, I don't remember where I was going. I had something going on and I got distracted. We'll let it go. If you guys remember, want to hear the rest of it, throw it out. Otherwise, we're moving on. Trump says of this weaponry is unthinkable. You don't even know about it. Oh, you could end this so quickly in just 2 seconds if we wanted to. He's right. He also got a lot of pushback from Iranian people last night. The U.S. is not speaking to Iran. All other 22 nations are. Ah, okay. That would make sense. Is that true? Is that a real statement? I mean, I believe that to be true, right? That seems, or I should say this, that seems likely. I don't know if it is. ICE, real quickly, everybody was freaking out about ICE, and then Trump said, oh, you know what, you're right. We'll pull, the one guy out, what's his name? Boyan, I can't remember his name. Wow, that's bad. But we'll pull him out, and we'll put Homan in, and we'll get out of Minneapolis and Minnesota. And then they didn't do that. And now we're actually ramping up all this stuff. We've got a facility that's huge. It's not as big as TerraFab, but it's pretty fucking big. And we're going to be processing all these people. We're still processing people, and we're kicking them out like crazy. We're ending all the programs that they get money from, okay? People aren't getting paid anymore to be housed. That ended. That ended in January. And then there was a period of 30 days to be able to kind of get shit in order. And then you have to stop paying the bills. And that's what they're doing. Also, if you're sending money overseas and they see that you have that you're not a U.S. citizen, you're sending money overseas and you're collecting government benefits, you're fucking done. They'll end all of them overnight. There's a lot of things. Yeah, Bavino, thank you. Thank you, Ashana. There's a lot of things going on right now that people are not talking about. They're not talking about it, and it matters. It's substantive. All of it is adding up. Trump moves quicker than these guys can handle. IDF. This is another underground facility where we think there was massive, like state-of-the-art weapon creation, all that stuff. It's all gone. Me laughing. Somebody put, not sensing the end of the world as advertised here on X. No. People outside of America, I said, don't understand how popular Trump is becoming. The polls lie, just like they did during the election when they told you Kamala Harris was going to win by 4 to 5 points, okay? This is Cubans in Florida lining up just to see Trump for a fucking second, okay? To show how much they love him and support him for what he's doing. This isn't the Hassan Pikers of the world. Not enough likes? Yes, I agree with that. I said, wouldn't this be funny? Trump put, I'm going to destroy Iran's largest power plant. What if he went after their massive mega church of Islam and blew that up? It's a war crime, but I think it would be funny. Anyway, I go, this will be fixed immediately when we hit the de-escalation stage in several weeks. So again, I still think we have a week or two, but I think peak fear is this week. And I don't know if it happened right now. I don't think it did. Chris Camillo is a very smart guy. He said someone who already knows how the next 24 hours plays out, somebody knows this. And at some point, tomorrow's tape might show it. He was right. Look at this, guys. Look at this. These fucking literally purple-haired bitches were videoing and taking pictures of these Cubans like they're a bunch of fucking monkeys on a safari. Can you imagine how fucking insulting that is? You're riding around in the regime's vehicles, the regime that has oppressed you for 67 fucking years. You're starving. I saw people fighting each other, trying to find eggs from a vehicle that had tipped over, and there was egg yolk all over the road, but they were trying to find unbroken eggs so that they could fucking eat. And imagine how it feels being the zoo animal on the other side of this shit. This is what these communist bitches think. They think they're so amazing and they're on the right side of history, and yet they're partying. I've got much better stuff than this. They're staying in 5-star fucking hotels while the rest of the country has no energy and people in hospitals are fucking dying to power their party. This is a fun one, guys. You're going to love this. Here's a recent funeral where they're throwing rocks at all the pro-IRGC members. You don't want to get hit with one of those in the head. Here's what the Basiji look like right now. These are the police in Iran. They're sleeping under bridges like fucking homeless people. Do you think they're winning? I said, isn't this the best thing that could happen? So my buddy from UAE says this war is pushing the Gulf states towards closer alignment with Washington, London, Paris, and Brussels while distancing them further from Moscow and Beijing. Isn't that a good thing? 22 likes. That's all. I go, seriously, we're winning all around the world. Again, that's just one of those. It looks like I probably retweeted this. I'll go down. There's other stuff we got to get to. I go, a lot of the narratives are going to break this week. I think this is pretty true. A lot of narratives are going to break this week. Make sure you know which ones. This is an important one, guys. I said finish the IRGC. That's what the people want. Now, what the people want is a fast war. If you look here, this is a CBS News poll. What's important for the U.S. to do regarding Iran? 92% said to end the conflict as quickly as possible. That's not a narrative that's popular. The whole thing is, oh, this war is unpopular. This war is unpopular. Ask the right fucking questions. 80% make sure Iran's people are safe and free. 4 out of 5 people believe that is a priority, and that is a higher priority than stopping their nuclear program and stop Iran from threatening other countries. People want the Iranians to be free, and Trump knows that. He also knows it needs to be quick. So what did he do? He escalated and escalated and escalated and escalated nonstop to come to a moment of talking to whoever is left. And then, if we need to, guess what we're going to do? We're going to escalate again. And he'll keep manipulating markets. If you don't think he's going to manipulate markets, you're retarded right now. All these guys, all these anti-Trumpers with TDS, I got 99 problems, but Trump derangement syndrome isn't one of them. But can you imagine these guys, they're like, oh, he's tacoing again. And in the future, they'll still be like, oh, God, I better go long oil again because Trump's such a fucking idiot. And then he'll crush them again, just like he did today. That's what'll keep happening. MAGA hugely supports what's happening. There's only a small percent that don't. What else we got? Not enough likes. What else you guys want to talk about while we're going through stuff here? We got another hot Iranian woman. So many beautiful Persian people. Guys and girls, man. You all get what you want with the Persians once they're free, because they're beautiful people and they're caring people. And she's just saying up here, I'm an Iranian woman and I love the war in the Islamic Republic of occupied Iran. Now, a bunch of them don't want, they fear that the people getting hurt by not having desalinization plants. They have to have that so that they have water in the region. And they're already struggling with water in Tehran. So I think that's something they pushed back hard against. As they don't mind if power is being taken to hurt the regime, but they don't want to hurt the people. So I think there's been pushback recently, and I think a lot of it was in regard to that. That might have been another reason why Trump maybe didn't about face today. Greece intercepts Iranian missiles over Saudi Arabia. We've got Greeks helping Saudi Arabia. So people are coming together. These are all the speedboats that they use to shoot rockets. They're hanging at the bottom of the Caspian Sea. I don't know how many people know this, guys. I just gotta put this up for a little bit. I need a poll real quick from all you people. There's like almost 500 people here, real quickly. Start a poll. Nelson Mandela. Did you know he was evil? Did you know he was evil and he was an incredible racist who wanted to murder white people? Who openly and publicly talked about murdering white people? Not just talked about it, but helped murder white people because he was a fucking terrorist and that's why he was in prison. I don't know where you went to school, but if you're in the USA, my education was Mandela was a hero. He was a hero because he helped get rid of apartheid. I never heard what he did to make that happen. And if you look at Africa now, just look at
How about some
look at Africa
Mandela
now.
magic?
Youth unemployment
some more
rate.
Mandela magic?
They're hunting white people and looting.
I'm a South African and I'm going to be...
But he talks about in this video, my buddy Serpinza, somebody who I love. He's a part of the Chinese fact chasers with Sea Milk. But these guys married Chinese women. They're some great people to listen to for what's going on in China without some of the hyperbole that you'll get from other places. But he talks about how the communist regime of South America that chants to kill the white Boer now, that was Mandela. That was Nelson Mandela. He was kill all white people. That was him. Can you imagine that? He ended up ruling this place. Kill all white people. That's Nelson Mandela. And it looks like 60%, 6 out of 10 of you didn't know that. Isn't that fucking insane? Isn't it insane what they teach us and what we believe? This is also UAE. Anwar Gargash. This is a different one in the UAE. The war must not end with yet another ceasefire. The event must conclude with the containment of the nuclear threat, the drones, the missiles, and Iranian bullying of the Strait of Hormuz. Guys, that doesn't happen easily. That happens with a lot, okay? That happens with a lot of pain. George Galloway put, Trump is going to cause the complete destruction of his Republican Party in just a few months in November. It's more than a few months, you dipshit. This guy's a Russian asset. I put, what a complete and absolute fucking retard. It'll turn the exact opposite. Saudi Arabia. Iran is limiting attacks on Saudi Arabia to avoid triggering a direct Saudi military response. There is a pact of like 50 fucking nations that if Iran keeps attacking Saudi Arabia, they'll all gang up on them and just fucking destroy them. I put, it's about the Iranian people being free, but it's also about a lot more. James E. Thorne put, for the record, Trump's gambit in the new great game. He's talking about how this isn't about Iran. It is about Iran. But at the same time, yes, it's about China. We're trying to teach them what is going to come. I love this.
Was killed by a drone.
I mean, I don't love this, but I love seeing Middle Eastern people that are Muslim talking about how bad Iran is and how they're leaning towards the United States. I love that. This is the best timeline ever.
A 29-year-old Bahraini woman was killed by a drone launched from Iran. May her memory be a blessing, Allah yarhamha. Her death tells us something the world must understand. The Islamic regime in Iran conducts indiscriminate attacks. They don't distinguish between civilians and soldiers. They don't aim carefully. They launch weapons that scatter death everywhere. Iran is...
It's basically shitting on Iran and talking about how they need to be destroyed. See what else we got here. I'm going to skip a lot of this stuff about war because it seems pretty pointless right now. Again, LNG, Qatar Energy has announced that Iran's attacks on its gas facilities have wiped out 17% of their operating capacity. That will have an effect on oil prices for a little bit. That could keep them a little more elevated than not. But we're ramping up, and we're the largest oil producer on earth, and everybody's doing it. And now we control Venezuela. And it sounds like the spin up of oil there is going better than people anticipated, something I've been talking about for a long time. But it is happening. They say it could take up to 5 years on some of the repairs that they have to do, and it's going to cost them $26 billion. Not cool. Now, again, if all the infrastructure for oil gets destroyed in the Middle East, guys, that impacts China the most. I think India's on that list, Japan's on that list, a bunch of others. That's why they're going to be dependent upon us. So if this does escalate, sure, prices can go up, but we're the beneficiary of that. And we'll be the ones to have the lowest prices on earth, too, because we're the biggest producer. We'll give ourselves the best prices, and then we'll also see a huge boon across the energy sector. That is the worst case scenario. If somebody was going to be hedging in some kind of way outside of Bitcoin, I would think energy would be the area to do it. LNG gases, stuff like that. This is fucking insane. This man right here has mechanical arms now. They put a Tesla Neuralink inside of his head. It was a same-day surgery. He went home afterwards. So he's got mechanical arms now. I think he's missing his legs. But when he plays World of Warcraft, he's one of the best raiders on there, and he just uses his mind using telepathy from Neuralink. Look at this. This is all being controlled with his fucking mind. Can you imagine? He doesn't play with his hands because this is easier and he's better at it this way. It fucking blows my mind that we're even here. The origin of Kill the Boar, the phrase, the song, Kill the Boar, Kill the Farmer, was popularized by Youth League Peter Makoba, later associated with not Mandela. Yeah, no, I know that. But that video will literally show you Mandela singing that fucking song. And he was a terrorist who wanted to murder white people. That's Nelson Mandela, and that's what he left. What he left was a poverty rate pre-apartheid, and apartheid was bad. But obviously what came next was not good. Communism didn't help them, did it? Wanting to kill white people. They're still preaching it today. That obviously has not turned out well for Africa. Senior American officials have told counterparts that a ground operation to capture. So again, yesterday we had two comments. One was that we were finding a peace deal and that we were also going to take Karg Island or destroy energy. All these things, right? Tons of messaging going on. I said probably smart. U.S. officials have cooled back on backing Kurdish rebels for an invasion in Iran. That's probably the smart thing to do. I don't know if you want to have factions fighting against each other and you don't want to arm multiple factions. That hasn't turned out well historically. So that's probably the right path. But listen to this, guys. So this is fucking crazy. This is in Cuba. Again, these are the Hassan Pikers having a fucking rap and rock concert to promote communism in Cuba. All the people around them are starving and they don't have power. But they throw this big blast of a party. Had to take some power from some other areas, like, I don't know, fucking hospitals that have people on dialysis and babies in the NICU and people on breathing apparatuses to survive, and they all died so that these guys could have their fucking party. That screams Code Pink socialism and communism. Screams it. Probably Cuba first. Alberta will take probably 2 years. That would be my guess. You have to go through the process. It might even be 3 if I don't understand it well enough. But it's a multi-year process to get out of there. Can they expedite it because I don't know something about their constitution? Maybe. All right, let me back up here. So great news. President Trump just installed a statue of Christopher Columbus at the White House grounds. I love this. I love that he took the Winston Churchill bust when he got back in his second term because they'd gotten rid of it. Joe Biden didn't want to see it. And the Europeans don't like it. The UK doesn't like Winston Churchill. They hate him. The Mayor Khan in London, all these guys, they don't like Winston Churchill. He was strong. But Trump idolizes the man and the great leaders of history. And he knows who they are. And he appreciated it and said, yes, I will take that. And he's got it sitting in the Oval Office now. Anyway, I'm going to skip some of this other stuff about it. Iran. There's a bunch of other. I wish I would have got my bookmarks done. So again, this guy right here, some stupid fucking rapper wearing a bunch of gold chains and necklaces. These kids, unless they're regime kids, they can't even feed themselves. They probably are regime kids because they look too clean and too nice. War. Stock Mom posted this one. We love Stock Mom. She put, when Middle East wars or conflicts start, the S&P usually drops, but it's almost always short term. The average negative 6% dip gets bought up pretty quickly. 1 year later, always up big time. She showed the Gulf War up 23 to 29%, the Iraq War 26 to 33, the Israel-Hamas war 32%. So basically, history is telling us that we always win. I said, where are all the strong men? U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent says the U.S. will have 50 days of higher prices for 50 years of no Iran nukes. And he's talking about a peace dividend. That's what he's speaking of. Again, we just hit so many fucking targets, guys. So many targets. I think these are energy targets that we have not hit, but that are on the list. Oh, this hasn't come true, but I do think it still can. And we'll see if that's the case. Again, just listen to this, guys. Listen to these bombings. Listen to this. Can you imagine living in this? This has been going on for 3 fucking weeks, and now it's picking up. Imagine living in this. Imagine being the IRGC, seeing people getting killed all the time around you. This is when you're supposed to be sleeping. Imagine sleeping through this. It's so bad you can hear it reverberating out throughout the city. All right, we already talked about that one. This one is what I thought somebody did a really great image here. It says Safari Socialista Cuba Tour, where you have the rich elites from the States taking pictures and eating cheese and doing some, Versailles, Marie Antoinette shit, looking at all the poor Cubans like they're fucking animals. Kirby Tax. You slept through a 5.5 earthquake? I'm a pig? Yeah, maybe you could then, JT. Kirby Tex, is Tesla shoulder, what's your opinion of a potential? I think it's going to happen. They're going to merge a bunch of these companies, or at least have a parent company and some kind of investment to where you could just invest in the whole thing. They'll have something like that because you got to have them all under the same umbrella, right? Like they're going to be building the chips. They're going to be putting chips in your brain. They're going to be putting chips into robots and into cars. They're building the robots in the cars. They're going to be shooting data centers up into space. They need chips for all the advanced equipment that they're going to be building around the world. They're an energy company. They've got solar deployments are going to increase dramatic. Like, fuck, man. This company is going to be insane. Out of all the CapEx investment, these guys are going to be doing the best. Disaster tourism. This is a good post. So it said Cubans cannot fish, vote, create political parties, open businesses, enter 5-star hotels to stay. They can't stay at one. They could maybe drop off food that they're bringing to somebody because they bought it. They can't buy food. They receive rations. They can't travel outside the country. It's almost impossible unless you're an elite. They can't eat meat. It's illegal. Trade cars or houses, have electricity 24/7, or protest. That's what they can't do. But these guys are going there and telling them how great they have it. Senator Kennedy is pushing for a reconciliation bill. The reconciliation process does not need a supermajority. It doesn't need the 60 plus. It only needs 50, and Vice President Vance is the tiebreaker. We should be able to do that. And he's saying that we should use that to be able to fund the TSA and the Department of Homeland Security and all that stuff, even though the Department of Homeland Security is actually already funded through the end of this year. So when the government was shutting down everything, and your lines at the airport were super long, it wasn't to not fund the Department of Homeland Security or the ICE or any of this stuff. They're funded. They're all funded. It was just fucking you. And again, this is what, just imagine this. You go to a country where everybody's oppressed and has no rights and has nothing, and then you party. You party with the oppressors. Isn't that great? Isn't that a wonderful thing? He said it really good up here, Mike. He said, this is the most amazing encapsulation of code pink leftism that I've ever seen. Going to an oppressed nation, showing solidarity with the oppressors, going around taking photos of poverty from tour buses, and then having a big party that that takes down the electrical grid and kills a bunch of people. Cool. I don't like options plays for Tesla right now. If Tesla ends up dropping to the post I did earlier, guys, and I'll just show you real quick. If we still have pain and we're not done, and we get down to like this line right here in the 240 range, also where we have the support line over here for this upward trend, if that were to happen, I would fucking go long calls. If we got to anywhere between 240 and 220, I will sell all my fucking stock and I will go long 2-year leaps in a heartbeat. Probably 2-year leaps with something simple like a 614. Maybe even in the 500s, because again, you're saying that if we get down to the 250, you're saying it's going up 150 to 200% in 2 years. A lot of people won't believe that. The math won't believe that, but the reality of it is it will. I like getting to the 600s in 2 years. I think is pretty easy money. 900 is pretty. I mean, that's the golden retracement zone. That's where we should stop. The 940, 950 range is where we should stop within the next 2 years and take a breather. Futures looking to open 2% up. That's not bad, right? It could be worse. They've been volatile. People try to figure out what's happening. Do we believe Iran? Do we believe Trump? I mean, I hope you wouldn't believe Iran. I hope. So Florida. So guys, if you're a red state, you grow. If you're a blue state, you die. New York, not looking good. And that's before Mom Donnie really kicks in. Just wait. On a given day, 30 to 40 of those ships would be transiting through the strait with China as their destination. So when people say that China's traffic has returned to normal in the strait, they're very wrong. What am I saying here? So pre-invasion, we were doing like 130 ships, 120 to 130 a day, right? Well, a third of those were destined for China. So if that's true, and a third were destined for China, and we only had 4 ships going through on the 23rd, then China is losing about 35 ships a day times however many days worth of energy. Now, they've got a decent reserve, but they're consuming it now. And there's videos of gas shortages in parts of China. So don't believe everything you hear. Yeah, right here. Hassan's $690 button shirt can feed a family of 4 in Cuba for a year. So Hassan's shirt could feed 4 people in Cuba for a year. We've killed out all the leadership in Iran, including this guy, who was saying that he was going to kill Trump. Didn't work out. Oh, and I'm trying to get the haters out of my chat. That's why I tell people to go away. So if you ever wonder why I'm doing that, I'm doing that because I grew too quickly, and there are people that hate me, and they don't hit likes on my videos. And so they lost money, which, I mean, fuck, a lot of people did. I did. And so they're not supporting me. And so I want them to go away so that I can increase my reach. Sometimes you have to contract to expand, okay? So when I'm doing that, it's not like I'm a sadomasochist or something. I'm not going to talk about card. We've already done that. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, let me know. So this is great. So did you know Democrats teach voter identification and election integrity all across Africa, including their mission in Nigeria? So they want to make sure that there's voting integrity and that people have good IDs and that only the right people get IDs in Africa. They want that to happen. They don't want that to happen here. Isn't that wonderful? Super cool. Super cool. This is great. This is just
mainstream
Batya.
Media. You may have gotten the impression
Another
that
Jew
the
I love.
president's supporters are abandoning him
got a
in
thing for the
droves
Jews.
over Operation Epic Fury.
The Jewish girls, at least.
His war to
guys
prevent
look a little
your
goofy, but
grandchildren from having
I
to
love
face
her-
off
I love her,
against a nuclear-armed
like,
Iran. Our
what is that called?
hapless
Why is it
president
escaping
has
me?
been dragged into this war
You know
against
what I'm
his
talking
will
about.
by
I
the
love that she
nefarious
represents.
Bibi Netanyahu, according to people like Tucker.
What she's talking about here is all these latest people, like the Tucker Carlsons, the Marjorie Taylor Greens, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens. Candace Owens, the biggest nut job of them all. How they've all deserted Trump and how they're getting paid by Qatar and probably China, and that's why they're doing all the stuff they're doing. And they're going to lose, and people don't believe them because, again, when we look at the polling, it is really positive for Trump. Really positive. Trimming the fat. There you go. That works. All right, we already talked about Michael Saylor. This is an Iranian woman talking about Islamophobia is bullshit. This is a great one. It's a Keir Starmer call. I'm not going to play it. You should check it out. It's fucking hilarious. There's a report that says roughly 40% of Canadians' top 1% income earners have left Canada, as well as 30 to 50% of the next 9%. So the top 10%, you've seen roughly 40% of them flee. And they've immigrated into the United States. As some, not all. That's not like a direct reflection, but that's probably pretty accurate. Don't care about that. Anarchists blowing themselves up. Iran. Israeli ambassador. Oh, we don't care about any of that. Fuck all this. Fuck all this. Fuck all this. I think I'm getting done with this stuff. I'm going to see. Oh, the NATO. NATO is all of a sudden our friend. Everybody that said that they weren't going to help Trump, I told you that they will end up helping Trump, and now they're helping Trump. Isn't that funny? Almost 71,000 on Bitcoin. This is Persia, guys. Look at this cute little girl. This is what these people fucking deserve. They deserve happiness. This little girl can be arrested and taken away by the morality police and never seen again. Now, they probably wouldn't... Oh, wait, one second. All right, my daughter said goodbye before she goes to school. So speaking of daughters, but they brutalize, they rape, they murder all these poor fucking people like they're cattle, and yet they still thrive. Iran is such a beautiful place, and it has very beautiful people. It's just like Lebanon. People don't realize that Lebanon has like the middle of its Christians. There's Shia to the south and to the east. There's Druze. There's Sunnis. There's everybody in these places. They don't realize what the Middle East is, which is a mix of everybody. And the Christians, I mean, a lot of them have been killed, and obviously the Jews have too in a lot of these countries as Islamic terrorists take over. But imagine, like, they deserve this. They deserve this again. And that girl is so fucking cute, and she's dancing so well. It's just like they deserve to have their girls deserve to be free. Where are all the fucking feminists? How have I, of all people, turned into a greater feminist than the majority of women nowadays? How is that possible that I'm a bigger feminist than they are? I just don't understand, man. Oh, let me see. A bunch of stuff. I don't care about all the military stuff. Fuck all that. Here we go. Here's an interesting one. Zero Hedge put, as a reminder, China buys 90% of Iran's crude exports at steep discounts. So this shows that since the pandemic, essentially, a little bit before it, other countries dropped off, and it basically became China, the UAE, and a little bit of others, right? So China gets most of the oil, and people are starting to realize that, and they're realizing that China not getting their oil sucks for China pretty badly. Trump to Fox Business, deal with Iran could be 5 days or sooner. I doubt it, but I hope so. And it better be the freedom of the Iranian people, and I think that's the case. Stoney put, Turkey, Egypt, and Pakistan have been passing messages between the U.S. and Iran in an effort to de-escalate per Axios. Don't trust Axios, but I do believe that story is true. Kirby Tex, Jason ruining the All In podcast. Would love for them to interview Sailor. Oh my God. Jason is ruining it. Jason's an idiot. He's such a fucking idiot. He's like, Tau is greater than Bitcoin. And then he was making fun of Bitcoin. He's just such a fucking moron. If you didn't see this interview, you should. It's 15 minutes long. I'm not going to play it all, but he just fucking tears her up. Just tears her up. He has no problem fighting all these people. He just has no problem with it. And again, everybody thinks that BRICS and the yuan and somehow Iran, like the yuan is going to be increased in trading. All these people are fucking retarded. Let me see if there's any more data points. I don't know if there's much more. Oh yeah, there's this. There's Hassan's $1,500 glasses. That's in here somewhere. Here's an 18-year-old, I think 18 or 19-year-old wrestler that they fucking murdered 2 days ago. And yeah, there's just a bunch of other bullshit. I could show you a bunch of charts and stuff. It's all, I think we're near the bottom, guys. I think if you're smart, you're buying here. I don't think you're adding a bunch of leverage here. I don't think you're in 2x funds here. But I do think that you can make a lot of money. And if you're thinking out a year, I think if you're thinking out a year, you're going to make a lot of money. That's the way I'm thinking. And that's the way I think you should think too. There's nothing really to talk about that I have. If you guys have some things you want to cover, let's do it. Otherwise, what I'm going to do, if you got a chart you want to see, gold, guys, gold actually looks good. I'm going to say gold looks good. Check this out. As far as some kind of bounce, it could go down more, but that's a bottom, dude. That's a nice bottom. I think gold's bottomed. On the daily, we did hit oversold territory. At least for now, gold's bottom. Now, could it grind up here and then roll over again? I think it could do that. I don't think we're getting a new all-time high in gold. I don't. And if we get a new all-time high in gold, then Bitcoin's like at least 280,000 or more. Like, that's what I think right now. Anyone seen the airport check-in is using ICE agents yet? Yeah, that's a good point. That was supposed to happen too. Gold is along in April. It could be, yeah. I mean, right here it could have been. If you bought gold at 4,100, you're already up a decent amount. But I think gold might have bottomed. I do think that. Man, I don't have a lot of cash left. Yeah, and that's fine too. Again, I think go out and go on a fucking walk, dude. I think we're sitting really, really good right now. I think we're sitting really, really good. Like crazy good. There's a video. I want to see if I can find it. Oh, no, it's not. It's YouTube. I've been meaning to play this, and I haven't played it yet, but I really want to play it. So here's the deal. So if you guys have some stocks that you want me to look at, throw them out, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to end with a song here from a bunch of Persian women. So it's a good one. It's them fighting for their freedom and for their country, and that's the ultimate goal. All these people talking about money and short term, like worried about their stocks, really piss me off. Don't get me wrong. I retired 5 years ago. Did you stop posting? I stopped posting I'm posting it. It's just for subs only. I'm not posting the balance because I'm not posting. People attack me with it, and I'm not letting people do that. Yes, I'm down over 50%. That happened, but I'm working really hard. I've diversified a ton since then. And I think I've got a really solid portfolio. I'm 10% Tesla, 10% ASST. ASST is down like 90% from its high. BMNR is down like 80, 85%. It's actually finding support. That chart looks nice right over here. It's finding support on the 200 and 100 moving averages with the 100 already pulling higher. That is like a beautiful place to find support. So I like that chart too. I've got ARCG still with options. I've got Zeta, which I love. I really love Zeta. I think it's a great play. The fundamentals on that one, guys, you got to look it up. There's a lot of people that talk about it. TLT is a hedge for the bonds. That's not for war. Not for war. This is basically if people are scared of other things and it has not worked out well and they believe that bond rates are going to come down a lot. I still think this is going to do good in the second half of the year. Cypher could do all right. Again, that's my AI energy play where there's a bottleneck there. Enphase is great because of their solar inverters. I really love that one. It's one of my favorites. It's down a shit ton. Software's down a shit ton, but like, again, well, I can't say shit ton. It is down still. It's down 87%. That's a shit ton. But at the same time, it went from 26 all the way up to 53, and it's sitting at 45.21 now. So it's recovered really, really well, getting ready to do a breakout. There is a huge upside. There is 682% upside just to get back to its all-time high, and I love this market. Nebius is one that a lot of people like, and I think you can make good money on it. I've got Siren, I've got Iron, and Cypher. Still waiting to see some breakouts here. It looks like CleanSpark's probably finding support, but it could break down. If we look over here at Iron real quickly, I'll throw that up. With Iron, again, it's really finding support on this volume over here, guys. This is so much fucking volume. Should probably post this chart for people. It bounced off the 200 moving average on the daily, which is nice. And then, and it's got some beautiful levels here. It's like a double. What is it right here? To get to its previous high, it's 85% it needs to go to get to its previous high, for where it is this morning. And so this thing's just a beast. It's a beast. And there's a lot of upside potential here. I think it can go up 320% this next year. So I really like this chart. This is a great chart. There's a lot of good stocks right now, guys. Again, we can drop. The market can drop. We can go down further. I am not sold. And I'm the bullish guy all the time. And I'm very in the markets. Like, can I buy more today? Yes, I can. Am I going to? No, because it's really going to be like, I'm printing money out of my ass at this point to buy. So I'm very bullish, but I don't think this is necessarily the bottom. There's so many other good stocks, guys. There's so many good opportunities right now. Like, when you get things down 80, 90%, look at Robinhood, dude. I talked about this the other day. Like, hey, there's some downside risk here. And again, we got all the way down to here. But look at your upside potential for where we were. 117% upside for what I believe is about 8.5 downside risk. That's an asymmetric bet. Why Zeta? Zeta is like one of the most amazing fucking companies on the earth. It looks like Palantir before Palantir took off. It's an AI play. There was a narrative that hurt it recently that AI was going to take like the lunch of companies that are doing advertising. These guys have a huge data set, one of the biggest data sets out of like Amazon and people like them of consumers and what they buy, and they manage that shit really, really well. There's better people to look to for this. You'll find them. I can't remember the name of all of them right off the top of my head, but these guys have a forward PE of 18. They have just a beautiful chart. Like, if you just look here, this chart is just up and to the right. They've been cash flow positive, but they haven't been net income positive. And so they're looking for the first time to really become profitable from a net income standpoint. Their cash versus debt is really good still. They haven't done a lot of share dilution recently. But the company's just growing at a beautiful clip. It looks gorgeous. It's the rule of 40. I don't know what they're doing, but it's higher than that. So it's very much like it reminds me of Palantir. I'm not saying it is Palantir, but it's a great company, and data is scarcity. Data is key. And so the fact that they've got all this customer data set information that isn't easily available and that's proprietary to them, to me, that just screams good stuff. And so I like it. So that's why Zeta. And again, there's better people for that. Here, let me just find. I'll tell you a better one. But again, I got other stuff on the list too. I am showing my portfolio. I'm updating it weekly. I didn't really do anything last week. I didn't update it. I will do it next week, I promise. But the only thing that changed was I sold a lot of Kraken, and I forget what other one on here, and I'd use that money to buy other stuff. So I've gotten out of defense because defense has done so well. I talked about that last Monday. Defense has just done too good to ignore. But Zeta, let's look here. Zeta. We'll look it up. There's one dude, I can't remember his name. He's like a heavier set tanner. Wealthmatica is great. He does a show with this other guy too. But again, just look at this. Like, free cash flow versus shares. This is what you want to see in a company right here. Like, this is fucking sick. This is what you want to see. And when that company is not priced heavily, what was the forward was 18, I want to say. It's just a really good stock. Look, even my buddy Shay's got it on his radar now as number 6. So that says a lot. I got it from Long Investor. I totally disagree with his politics, but I call things out. And he's the person who I initially got excited about. Ronnie, the Ronnie V show. Ronnie's a good dude. I think he's a decent person to follow. I think he's really gotten doomer recently. So I think directionally he might be wrong, but he also talks and does like the earnings calls with these guys. So he's a good person. Him and Wealthmatica are the people you probably want to follow if you want to talk about Zeta. Yeah. What else we got? Anything? SoFi. Yeah, we can look at SoFi.
The key number.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to close that real quick here. Oh, and I didn't, real quickly before I go, I want to look at something. I got more to talk about too. What was it? Oh, yeah. Over here. Let me turn this down to 1 because we did get other data. We got the Chicago Fed national activity. It's negative 0.11. That's not bad. Considering what's been happening with war and just everything else going on with the economy. We had the government shut down. Everybody was worried. I know it seems like a million years ago, but everybody's worried about the Supreme Court ruling with tariffs, which turned out to be a nothing burger. So there's just a lot of things that have been happening. So I don't think that matters much. It looks like we get construction spending tonight, but that was only for January, so we don't care. ADP tomorrow is going to be good. And then, and some other labor information like unit labor costs is probably going to be a big one along with productivity. So tomorrow will be a fun day. I don't know why it says 12. Something's messed up there. It's got to be messed up. SoFi. You asked about SoFi, didn't you? Did I pull up SoFi? I did not. Okay, here it is. SoFi was down a lot. I think I bought more. Did I buy more? If I did, I probably didn't post it, but it was just crumbs anyway. I'm so broke. But down almost 50%. Beautiful support area if you zoom out. If you can zoom out, guys, you dropped underneath the .618. That's the golden retracement zone where you're most likely to bounce, right? So you might be under here, but you don't spend time here for long. This is a weekly time frame, so we could still this thing could go back up to 1781 in a heartbeat. It's already up here, and then you would have never, again, this green one didn't close the week underneath the .618. This one didn't. This one didn't, and this one might not at the end of the week either. I think that's the most likely scenario. So you've confirmed the bottom on the .618, which also shows you the previous highs here, where you have like that trough in volume. This looks great, and again, you've got a 90% upside on SoFi. So Hood, SoFi, Zeta, all these great companies, guys. Even look at MicroStrategy. I mean, MicroStrategy is accumulating so much Bitcoin. They might have 1 million by the end of this year. I think that's likely. And what do you get if they go back to their all-time high? Especially with this STRC new bond narrative going on. You get 294%. Doesn't that seem like a good deal? And then I don't even want to talk. Well, I'm going to. I do want to talk about it. Ass and titties, baby. Ass and titties. One of the best. I've ridden this one a few times. I've ridden these. God, this just sounds horrible. I've ridden this one a few times, okay? I bought it like over here or something, I think, and then I made it up to here and I got out. It went down over here, and then I bought a bunch again, and I told you guys about it, and then it went up here to what was the $12 range, but they've had a reverse stock split. And then we sold out of it up here and got the fuck out. And then it plummeted all the way down. And now we're big buyers down here. And I think I'm almost flat on this one. I'm probably down a little bit. But again, this thing went all the way down to 7 and it's back up to 10.14. This thing is still down. Even though it's above the first fib and holding nicely, it's down 96%. And they've got SATA, a very similar tool to STRC. It is not really fired off yet, but again, this is the riskier asset. So of course it might not have, but it can, and it can grow a lot quicker. Why can it grow quicker? I like it better than Meta right now. It is a $625 million market cap compared to what is MicroStrategy at right now? I don't even know off the top of my head. $45 billion, and that one's undervalued. So that one's $45 billion. This thing is roughly, I don't know, 1/80th of that. Not that I don't like MetaPlanet. ASST is down more. Yeah, it's down more, and it's US based, and it's the closest thing to I forgot or I missed. If you missed MicroStrategy, if you missed MetaPlanet, and I have like 6 figures in MetaPlanet, I don't want to shit on it at all. But if you miss those opportunities, this is it. And Matt Cole, I think, is brilliant. And this is the one that Vivek Ramaswamy was affiliated with. These guys want to become like the new, the new BlackRock. They want to become an investment firm that you like see at the top of all the holdings of all these different companies. But they're a Bitcoin treasury company first and foremost, and they use every opportunity they can to get that to work. They had interesting warrant expirations that were kind of a concept that I think that was smart on their part, but those don't expire until like September. So it could be capped at 130% between now and September. I'm okay with only getting 130% on this between now and September. But you could get, if it got back up to the high, I don't know if it can, but again, it's a small vehicle, so they could really pump this thing. People, if we go risk on, or I should say Bitcoin on, people will buy the shit out of this. And I'm just going to update the charts here real quick so I can give you the accurate number on what the potential returns could be if they get back up there. And again, they'll use a lot of share dilution. They'll use that whole dividend income thing that STRC is doing. And you'll see when these start to fire up. We'll look at SATA in a minute. But you could get 2,300% returns. And now I think over the next 2 years, you can get 1,600% pretty easily off of this one. I don't have everything in it because I'm not taking super risky bets, right? But how much do I have in it? It's probably even a little bit higher now. It's probably like 8%. So it's probably rocking up here with one of my top 5 holdings. And if I can get 1,600%, I'm going to be happy, dude. But I don't like MetaPlanet as much because their taxes on their Bitcoin earnings were like 50% or something, or 55. I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was 45. And now they're dropping into the 20s. And so the vehicle was way more attractive when people couldn't really buy Bitcoin. And then that was the narrative. I still love the company. I love Dylan LeClaire. I love the CEO. They're brilliant people. I'm sure they're going to do well. And so I still own that one too. But I think I've got, I don't know, 1/3 or more between these two. All right, guys. I think Amit likes to do his thing. You should hang out with him and talk with him. I do want to go out, though. For anybody, if you want to see the Iranian people be free, then I want to go out on this note real quickly here. This is a song I fell in love with. It's got Persian women. Some of them are dressed a little slutty, I'm not going to lie. But it's got Persian women that are doing that because they have the freedom to do that for the first time in their lives. And they're really oppressed women. Incredibly oppressed women, and feminism used to be about alleviating repression of women and trying to elevate them, and it turned into whatever the fuck it is now. Some dude with a penis competing in women's sports. That's what feminism is now. But this is what it really is, okay? It's about freedom and how women are not property and they're not worth half the value of men. Here you go. Peace out, guys. I love you. Take it easy. Please listen to it. Please support me. Please hit the likes. Peace out.
We gave them a revolution. Ayatollah is gone. And baby, we're just getting started. Go to hell, Ayatollah. I was 19, yeah, 1960 lashes on my spine for dancing at a party for a crime that wasn't mine. Neck to ankle, blood and bruises, that's the price they made me pay. Now I'm dancing in the sunlight, try and stop me, make my day. No hijab, no permission, no approval, no apology. I'm an engineer, a doctor, an artist, a baddie, writing my own mythology. Skinny jeans got me arrested. Hoodie made them drag me in. Now I wear what the hell I want. And honey, that's not even a sin. We didn't beg for this freedom. We bled for this freedom. We didn't ask for this fire. We built this fire. So Democrats, sit down. Your opinion's expired. Sue me if you can. Go cry about it. We are Persian baddies and we'll never doubt it. Cry harder, cry louder. We don't owe you shame. Woman, sue me if you can. Cry harder, cry if you can. White liberal women wanna tell us how to dress. Persian women slaying sorry if our joy causes distress. You see hookers, we see warriors. We don't owe you modesty. We outlive systematic shame, babe. You're arriving late to history before mandatory trash bags, courtesy of the regime. After whatever the hell I want, yeah, exactly what you've seen. We didn't risk our life for someone else's permission slip. So take your Western savior complex, seal it tight and zip. We didn't beg for this freedom, we bled for this freedom. We didn't ask for this fire, we built this fire. So Democrats, sit down. Your opinion's expired. Sue me if you can. Go cry about it. We are Persian baddies and we'll never doubt it. Cry harder, cry louder. We don't owe you shame. Woman, life, freedom. Say our name. Azizam, do you know what it costs to walk outside and feel the sun? 47 years they stole from us. We buried 1,000 sons and daughters, Masanika, all the names. We carry them like armor, not your outfit, not your games. Maybe it's not the outfit, maybe it's the confidence. Maybe it's the woman who survived their violence. We are art, we are ancient, we are Persia's daughters. And we rise from every silence. I'm not Islamist, not Democrats, not defined by your projection. I'm a Persian girl in freedom, that's the only my direction. You can burn with your jealousy, we'll be out here living loud. Nobody hates Persian women more than women who can't compete with our crowd. Go ahead and sue us, we are waiting, we are ready. We have careers and brains and beauty, and our future's oh so steady. This is what the revolution stole. Now we're taking back our soul. Sue me if you can. Go cry about it. We are Persian bad, and we'll never doubt it. Cry harder, cry louder. We don't owe you shit. Woman, life, freedom. Santegi Azadi. If you can. Go cry about it. Cry harder. We're already free. Woman, life, freedom. Sue me if you can. Go cry about it. Cry harder. We're already